Hello, welcome to Brap Life. Today's episode is actually focused on somebody who really influenced this podcast. This is Makana Barger. He's a 15-year-old from Oahu who is an incredible rider. He also has a really, really cool family. It's been really awesome to meet more of his family as they show up to more of his events, and just to see the dedication not just by him as a rider, but as his family to getting him to these events. It's been really, really cool to get to know the entire Barger family, and I look forward to seeing them at more events and seeing how Makana progresses throughout his career. I really hope you guys enjoy this story, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining me. It's really cool to have you here. I don't know if your mom told you, but you're actually kind of the inspiration behind all of this. So, talking to you and talking to your family when I met you guys out at Battle of the Goats was kind of like, it was super cool. I thought you had a really cool story. And I was like, how many people even know about this? And I was talking to people at the race, and nobody really knew. So I was like, well, I feel like more people should know his story. And so then I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, there's a lot of cool stories out there. So I decided to do this. So thank you for that inspiration.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's start at the beginning. So how did you get started riding?
I think it was when I was 6 years old. My dad bought me my first Honda 50, and then it was broken when we bought it, so then we fixed it up, and that kind of gave me that little inspiration for working on bikes. Then started riding, and then it just kind of just kept like snowballing up, and it kept going. And I just kind of kept learning everything, all the steps. And then my dad actually got hurt during his hip was bust. So then my uncle, my Eric, his name is Eric. He lives in Kaneohe, so like about 15 minutes away from me. And I would sleep over at his house every single Saturday, and he would take me riding every Sunday. And so that's kind of the one guy I look up to a lot because he's one of the best riders on Oahu. So he's kind of taught me everything. And he has like four or five, 6 kids. I don't know. He's got a lot of kids, but yeah, he definitely put me ahead and pushed me a lot, and to this day. And then and now it's all this effort and all. He's pushing me a lot. Like we just had a local race, and I managed to pull it off and beat him by a couple minutes. So I was super stoked, and it's crazy how much when you grind that hard and you put all that work in, how much the results pay off. So super stoked.
That's really cool. That had to be an awesome feeling for you to like beat him. Like,
Yeah. I mean, had fun. I mean, he likes it too. He loves how I'm pushing, and he's always trying to help me out and what I should be doing, working out, all these little steps. So it's super cool.
that's awesome. So, well, then you answered my next question. Usually it's like, who taught you how to ride? Did you take any kind of formal training, or was it all just mostly from him?
Um, like formal training, as in like going to like people and like a workout
Yeah,
class.
like a clinic or a coach or anything like that.
I've only done like the little clinics, like the Rich Larson clinic, and like
Okay.
a couple of those, but I've only done like a couple classes, like Pilates, kind of just working on my core strength with my mom. Like my mom
Oh,
knows the
cool.
teacher, so we do that every so often, but mostly just by myself and just kind of doing my own thing. So
Cool.
like that.
So when you're getting ready, well, one of the things I forgot to ask you, do you want to let everybody know what discipline and what class that you race?
I'm racing. I just stepped up from youth lights to A class. 15 years old. I mean, racing a 300, so it's a big bike for how small I am, but that's what you got to ride. You can't ride any smaller than that. So, but yeah, doing
Cool.
all right. Top 10ing almost every race, so I'm happy with that.
I was gonna say, yeah, you've been doing great. That's kind of what caught my attention at Battle of the Goats was watching you ride. Even just around the parking lot, I was like, that kid's got something. I was like, okay. And then seeing you ride during like the actual race, I was like, all right, all right. That was pretty cool. So, well, when you're getting ready for a race, like whether it's the one that you just had this past weekend or
Yeah.
if it's something here on the mainland, what do you kind of do to get ready for you, your bike, any kind of mindset, fitness, whatever you're willing to share? I know some people have their secrets, but
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have any secrets. I kind of just, most likely a week or two, I'll prep water, lots of hydration, lots of Pedialyte, drip drop, LMNT, whatever. And then hanging out with Will, he taught me a bunch of hydration stuff. So I've been sticking to that. My nutrition, I've been sticking to that a lot, like eating a lot of eggs, eating good breakfast, watching my meals, watching my diet. And I feel like that's really making me step up to that next level. Because when I went to Tough Like Roar, I really like noticed, and not just all these races I've been going to, I've really been noticing like how much my body like, or no, how much these kids are pushing harder than me. And I'm like, okay, I know my body can do that. It's just, I'm not trained for it. I'm just normally used to all the local races and, oh yeah, everybody's kind of the same level. But no, you come to the mainland, it's just, everybody's just on another level. So, but back to that. I mean, my bike, just whatever's wrong with it. I mean, like this past race, I was having charging problems. I mostly do all my maintenance to my own bike, so I'm always super good with that. I just kind of go over it, air filter, oil, everything that's check over all the charging systems, grease bearings, everything. So I haven't really had many bike problems, knock on wood, but it feels happy.
good.
I have a solid bike. Dad definitely got me on a really good bike, and hopefully next year we'll step up to another one, but we'll see.
So, what are you looking to go to? If you had your choice, any bike, money wasn't an option or an issue.
I'd probably stick with KTM. I used to ride Sherco, but I don't know. The KTM. I'm blown away with just the power, the throttle response, clutch control, everything. The parts are super solid. Even when you take apart the motor, everything is put together nice. I mean, they're meant to last. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I've ridden a Sherco a couple times, and I don't know. It's just not super. They're good running bikes, super good, stable, but they're very top heavy, and they just feel a little different. I like the KTM feel, and
Yeah.
the power is just incredible. They run good, and I mean, probably a 24, 25 KTM. That's probably the next bike, but I'm hearing that they're a little low on the power, so you have to do a couple upgrades. So definitely gonna have to dump a little money into that. So
Bikes are expensive.
just kind of working on it right now, because
Yeah.
but yeah.
So, how do you afford everything? Like when you guys come to the mainland, I know I talked to your family about it a little bit. But how do you guys like manage all of this? Is it all just your parents and them like really believing in you, or do you do part of it, or how does that work?
I mean, it's both. So I mean, yeah, they both have super solid jobs. My dad has side jobs, all kinds of stuff. Like he's a mechanic, and my mom's a realtor, so they bring in good money. So I mean, it's definitely really helpful. They're definitely 90% of it, and I'm probably just like 10. But and I mean, I like the bike on the mainland. I had a trials bike, and then I was like, dude, I need a bike up there, Dad. I can't keep riding rentals. And then and I'm just not used to it. So then I sold my trials bike. I have it at home, and I've been wanting to sell it. And then that was like, boom, okay, I got the money, let's buy the bike. And then I bought that bike, and now I'm super stoked. But I run like a little yard business out of the neighborhood. So I have like 10, 12, 13 or like businesses, and just kind of, I have, my dad works at Infinity of Honolulu, so like a car dealership, I cut their grass. So that's kind of just my little niche, and make good amount of money. That's mostly what I pay for parts, but they're definitely, they definitely pay for everything mostly, but I try my best to pay what I can.
That's really cool. It's hard to find kids who are younger who have that kind of work ethic. I mean, you're, grinding really hard for something that you have a passion for. And there's a lot of kids who, won't get up off the couch because they're playing video games.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So what about riding like sparked you into it? What motivates you about riding?
I mean, just I have like a solid 6 guys that are, or 10 guys, whatever, that all live in Kailua. So that's like a part of town on Oahu,
Mhm.
and that's kind of, we're all like boys. We're all the Kailua boys. That's what we call ourselves, and we all hang out. We're probably every Sunday we ride together, and then during the week, just kind of any day when they get off work early, or like yesterday we went on a road, and then yeah, I mean, just that kind of motivates me, just pushing all the boys, and then it's motivating me because I'm like the youngest in the pack and I'm pushing harder, and then all the boys are seeing that I'm progressing and they're stoked, and it makes them want to push even harder, and then and it's like, okay, now you just took the lead, now it's like, okay, now I got to work harder, and I just really like that. It's also just like I've heard Tristan and all them, they're all like, yeah, just riding with the boys, that's the best part of riding. I agree. That's mostly the motivation. And yeah, it's cool winning trophies and all that, but it's still just cooler. And then yeah, I mean, it's way more fun to be riding with people than by yourself. I've ridden by myself plenty of times and it's not that fun. I mean, it's good training, but it's just you get bored, you get scared, and nobody's really comfortable on the mountains just by themselves, and it's so easily to get hurt on your bike. So,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, I'm running into that issue here. I don't have anybody around Maine. So it's definitely difficult, but I could definitely see how having people around you would push you. That's really cool to I had a friend come up here and she and I are very similar in skill level and it was kind of cool because I could tell we were kind of doing that with each other just like automatically. It was cool.
yeah,
Obviously nowhere near what you guys are doing, but
but
um
yeah, to put back on that question though, like Will Riordan, like he definitely stoked me out. He was like, yeah, he rode me 2-3 times, and just that next level they're on, and so I don't have to ride by myself. Like those 2 times I would have rode by myself, but then Will's like, dude, yeah, let's go ride. So that was really cool. Like that experience was really fun. So I had
That
fun.
feels crazy to me. Like, oh yeah, he just wanted to go ride. Like,
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
and we were talking in the car. He's like, yeah, dude, I hate riding by myself. So, and then I mean, yeah, it's cool. And then you just see that next level. Also, it's like, dang, that's how good I could be one day. Or like, takes me the amount of time it took me to like ride a section. He like already rode it twice. I was just like, most of the
so
time,
was
just
he
watching
just
him.
like, yeah, I was gonna say, was he just like lapping you pretty
I
much?
mean, basically, yeah. I was just like sitting. I think it was FU Jarvis or something like that, and it was super slippery. I had like a ball head tire, and he was just, yeah, he did it like twice or 3 times by the time I got to the top. But also, I'm just like watching him too, like looking to my side and just like, wow, that was really clean.
Sometimes those guys take lines that I'm like, I mean, obviously I'm still learning, but I
Yeah,
wouldn't even have seen that. I wouldn't have thought that was something that was rideable sometimes. So it's just incredible to see the things that they go through.
it
And
was super efficient, super clean.
yeah, it's incredible. Um, what a cool experience though. That's so awesome. He's just like right there because that
Yeah,
was out at Brushy. Um, so that's so cool. And at your age too, like just being like, oh yeah, I just went out and I was riding with Will, not a big deal. Like
yeah, it's
so many people are so jealous of that right now. That's awesome.
definitely a really big, pretty cool.
So, out of all the places that you've come, when you come to the mainland, what's your favorite race that you've done so far?
I mean,
It's
I
not
liked,
place to ride; those are
yeah,
separate.
I didn't really like the West Coast. I mean, it was definitely a really big eye opener for the desert and the sand, but I don't know. I don't think I'll ever really like the sand. Like I feel like I'm not comfortable riding it. Like I just like this. I forget what his name is, Anthony or Johnson, something like that. And he just came by me on this 450, just like brr, brr, all across the sand loops. And I'm just like brr, 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 just cruising. And I'm like, because I'm just scared. I feel like I was gonna cross up and just go flying over the handlebars. But I mean, I like the East Coast a lot because it brings back like home. It's more wet, more muddy. I like that. Just in the middle of forest, not in like the middle of the desert, just cooking in the sun. I'd rather be more humid and like hot in the woods. I really like Battle of the Goats. I think that's definitely my favorite one right now because just the water slides and everything. I would definitely wish I was at like I feel like I've already got my levels. I went up since Battle of the Goats, so I wish like I could go race that right now and see where I'm at. But like that same course because I feel like I would have gotten a lot farther, and especially on my own bike. Like I was still adjusting to the beta, so it's just totally different bikes, totally different platform. But and then yeah, I think Battle of the Goats. Tough Like Row was cool. It was just super chunky and super tiring, especially the 3 days in a row. I was pretty slaughtered from that. So that's one thing I'm training to right now is working on my 3 days in a row. Trying to ride a lot, 3 days in a row, work out a lot, 3 days in a row. So
Get your endurance up. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. It's really cool to see you like pinpointing those like little weak spots. Like that's something that I do. I have a lot of them, so you don't
yeah,
have nearly as much, but it's cool to see because a lot of really good riders do that where they pinpoint something and they
yeah.
work on that and then they fix that and then they move on to the next thing. So I think that's awesome to see. Again, you're so young that you're just excelling and excelling and it's really cool to see.
I want to learn, or just more likely, I feel like if I get older and once I get a little bit better, like I'd like to, like even sound like if I want to go pro one day or if I want to do something, I got to be able to ride and everything. So it's a lot of learning. So it's definitely good. I'm starting now.
Yeah. So is that your plan ultimately to go
I
pro?
mean, it'd be cool. I mean, something like that. I definitely would like to push for it, but yeah, that's my goal.
Do you have like a timeline that you want to do that? Like, are you giving yourself a couple years or just as it
I
comes?
mean, we look at Kana Boy from Kauai. He's 18. He's already P4ing in Silver King. So, I mean, he's beating factory riders. That's really impressive. So, I mean, probably, I don't think you can really be at that level until you're 18 because you need those genetics in your body of being that strong and bulky and the weight on like I weigh 132 pounds or 130 pounds. So like I'm barely having even traction on my rear tire. So that's a lot of just like that 20, 25 pounds is going to help a lot. I feel like,
Yeah.
and just the strength. But I think 18 to 20, that's where I'd be my big push because
Okay.
Will said, but then I was talking to Will and he's like, my first hard enduro race was when he was 18 or 16. And he said he was like just at my level like then. And then he's like, dude, you're already like killing it and you're this young. So, and you're already pushing for all these races, doing everything. So, I mean, I think going on the right path. So just keep trying.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think you are. I mean, I'm pretty new to, this side of things. But watching you ride, I mean, like you said, Boy, I was at Silver Kings and I was like right there watching him ride at Battle of the Goats, at Tough Like Roar, and then at Silver Kings. It was like three different riders, honestly.
Yeah.
Like just watching him progress, and he flew through those sections at Silver Kings. Like literally, like he flew up this one hill that I was at, and he literally like jumped like the last like 10 feet of it. I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
saw that.
holy crap. Like I couldn't even get a picture. He was so fast. I was like, that was insane.
Yeah, he was
But
definitely holding it. And then, yeah, that's what you got to do to be at that level. So he's
yeah,
definitely going for it.
But seeing his progression on those 3 races, I've only seen you at the 2, but I have seen your progression between those 2 races. So I'm really excited to see how you do at TKO. I mean, it's kind of a completely different environment. Have you been to TKO before?
Never even been to Tennessee.
Okay, so this
So
is your first time.
totally different.
Okay.
All
Well, you
these
have the
races,
benefit. Yeah, go ahead.
I said all these races I've never been to anywhere in the United States, really, honestly.
Okay.
So
Wow.
it's the first time to Pennsylvania, Arizona, everywhere, Tennessee.
Okay, that's even more impressive. I thought that you had been like everywhere before. Wow. Okay. That's incredible, dude. Okay. All right. Well, you're gonna have the benefit in Tennessee because you're used to humidity. From what little I know about Hawaii, like that's pretty much the biggest thing I've been told is that it's humid there. Um, so you're gonna already know how to ride in that. You're gonna be comfortable in that. And it's nasty in Tennessee. It's like hot and humid. So I think you already have a leg up there. And then if it rains, you Hawaii boys are always excited when it rains on the East Coast. So you guys do well in the mud and the trees and everything. So
Yeah.
is there anything about TKO that you're nervous about?
Yes, actually, because I've heard or I've talked to people that went there before. They said it's a lot more of a faster race. Like you said, there's like you show up and it's like, oh, here's a 7-minute race, here's a 7-minute race, and then I don't know. I mean, I like shorter races sometimes, but I don't know. I mean, I kind of struggle in the single track. I feel like they're definitely more comfortable than me. But then once we get to like harder sections, and then you have to kind of push your bike and kind of look, and I feel like I kind of proceed right there, or push a little bit harder than them. But I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, I'm interested to see. I got all my suspension done now, so I think that'll help a lot. So
That's
we'll see.
awesome. Yeah. So you got your mainland bike dialed in now
Yeah,
when you were out here?
yeah.
Good. Good.
So
I think that'll make a big difference having that all done. It's gonna be
yeah,
really exciting to see you ride, see you on something you're comfortable on. That's gonna be so cool.
yeah.
Um, awesome. Well, uh, if you could pick anywhere in the world to go ride, where would you want to go?
I think I would honestly want to go try out like Canada and like all where for Tristan and all them are from, and where like
Mhm.
Herzberg, all that. I'd like to go try something out over there.
That'd
I
be
mean,
really cool.
I like it. Like I watch all of the FIM Hard Enduro series videos, and
Mhm.
I like those. I'd like to go try those out one day, and then I feel like that'd be really cool. Just be like, oh yeah, we're going to Europe today, or we're going to race my dirt bike 15 hours away or whatever. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I've been watching Erzberg for a long time, way longer than I've been riding. And that's always been that and Romaniacs are the ones that everybody
Yeah,
knows.
Romaniacs.
Um,
That's the one.
that one looks pretty cool. Um, I've heard it's pretty fun, but Sea to Sky is the one that I really like to watch because it's just like visually stunning. Like
Yeah, it's
it's
crazy.
kind of intense what those guys do.
And you're like riding on the side of a mountain, and the water's right there if you fall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little scary. I mean, you guys have some of that in Hawaii too, though, don't you?
More on Kauai. You can ride more close to the beach. Not much here. Everything's kind of far, or not far away, but yeah, you could be like 5 minutes to the beach, but nothing where you're like, oh yeah, that's the water right there. Or Kauai a little bit, I know for sure.
Okay, cool. So, do you ever go to any of the other islands to ride?
Yeah, so Kauai will do like an annual Labor Day race. So
Mhm.
right when I get back from TKO, I'll have to get one of my buddies to ship my bike for me. So one of the guys will set up a container and we'll all put our
Mhm.
bikes in there, and then it'll get shipped out the week before the race. and that'll ship to Kauai, and we'll unload them, race, throw them back in, and then bring them back home. But yeah, I get back. We're thinking about getting back on Oahu Wednesday or Thursday, then flying to Kauai either Thursday or Friday because the race is Saturday. So I'm gonna be all over the place.
Well, you know, you're talking about wanting to go overseas. I mean, that's pretty much what Tristan and Cody did right after Roar of all races too. And they just went right overseas, and then a few days later they're racing Erzberg. So I guess it's good practice, huh?
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. Yeah, like 6-hour difference or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See? So
that's exciting. I heard a little bit about that race. That seems to be everybody's like excited about it. So
yeah, this year's the 70th annual. So like I heard the 60th annual they had 60 river crossings. So there's probably some stuff in store for the 70th. So
oh, I can imagine. I'm excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, that race I like Kauai a lot. I mean, their riding over there is incredible too, but never really gotten time to ride there because it's like you kind of just put your bike in, or you put your bike in, ship it there, you sleep, then you get ready for the race the next morning, and then you race Saturday. Normally they put the race on Saturday, but then you wake up Sunday morning and you're just absolutely cooked out of your mind, and then you're like, I'm not riding today, I'm going to the beach.
Yeah. So for those of us who have never been, what is the biggest difference between Oahu and Kauai? Like, is it all visual? Is it very much similar? Like, what's different about it?
It's pretty similar. I feel like Oahu is definitely a lot more modern. It's got a lot more more big businesses. Kauai's they're kind of behind time. I feel like they're kind of getting there, but it's definitely I feel like Kauai is more of an old school town. I've only really been on half the island. Like I've only really done the dirt bike races, and that was it. That was the first time I ever went there, but I've only been there like 3 times. I like it. I mean, the scenery is beautiful. The mountains are really nice. The beaches are really nice. Beaches are super cool. I mean, yeah, I definitely like Kauai a lot, but it's just, I think Oahu is a little more modern, got more, I don't know how to say it. Both of them are kind of touristy, but there's a lot of people on both islands. I feel like Kauai is not as populated as Oahu just yet, but I feel like it's getting there.
Okay. And what about as far as riding? Like, what's the difference riding?
So I think Kauai is more wet. It rains a lot there, and it's always wet. Super rooty there, super wet. They have a lot of, I don't know if you know, like paper bark trees. They're just like, and it's just roots. And you look at a hill climb, and it's just like those roots across the whole thing. And then you just have to go up and switch back up the whole thing, unless you clean it first try. But it's really hard.
Wow.
And then say I'm racing B class 2, already 50 guys rode up it, and it's just slaughtered already. And
oh my goodness.
So it's definitely, I like it there, but they have definitely some hard trails. And then Oahu's just, I don't know, just water. Both places have a lot of water, I'll tell you that. Lots of rivers, lots of freshwater streams, couple waterfalls. So, but it's cool.
That's awesome. I got invited to come ride out in Kauai, and it makes me nervous.
I mean, it's fun. I mean, there's still like easier trails. Everything's not crazy hard, but
I heard there's no such thing as easy out there. So I think it's a relative term.
Yeah, definitely on Oahu we have like a track, and there's like, okay, yeah, you can, it's kind of like brush, you know, they have like all the, okay, this is C or 5B or whatever. Like we have a perimeter trail, and that takes you around the whole track or like the whole property. But then we have trails. You're not supposed to go beyond that, but we have trails super far out that all the old timers cut, so super cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I'm hoping, we'll see, but I'm hoping to get out there this fall. It'll kind of depend on if I can figure out a bike out there and everything, but we'll see. But I think it'd be pretty fun. It's a little scary, but I'm working on mindset and kind of doing things that scare me, getting over fears, things like that. So um, for me, mindset's been a huge game changer, especially with my riding. Uh, just being able to focus when I'm having a bad day riding. Like the other day, it was way too hot to be riding, and I was just kind of I was struggling a lot because I was not well hydrated, and my bladder broke on my camelback, so I didn't take it with me, and so I didn't have water with me, and I was like, okay, I'm not that far from my car, but it's just stupid little mistakes that you start to make. And so I kind of started getting in my head and getting a little frustrated, and I was like, you know what, I'm not racing, I'm not doing anything like that. Like, I can stop and I can go sit down, I can sit there and drink some water. And I was like, I just got all in my head about it. So
Definitely,
it's just
mindset's crazy.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. So what do you do if you're having a bad day? Like, if you're out, whether it's training or during a race or whatever, like, do you ever have a bad time on a bike, or do you just kind of like push through, or what do you do?
I mean, there's always bad times on a bike. I mean, I try to push for just, okay, I'm having a bad day. Well, you're always gonna have a bad day, just fix it. But nah, I don't know. Kind of just, I don't know, scream at yourself a couple times, and then if you're in the back of the pack, try not to be there because that just makes it even worse. Like, that's one thing I notice when we're riding like 6 guys deep and I'm in the back of the pack. That's when I lose my mind because I'm scared if I fall, there's nobody behind me to stop. And then it's like we're at such a high level where it's like there's no stopping. Like, we don't stop. Like, oh yeah, oh, here's a turn. No, we just skid on it and be like, okay, yeah, when you see the skid, turn. But yeah, you kind of just are by yourself. I mean, I don't know. I mean, a bad day, I just kind of try to breathe. When I get stuck a couple times, I definitely am scream at myself. I mean, it's kind of normal, but yeah, I just try my best and try not to make stupid mistakes. That's what hurts you a lot. Just not making a section, or like not, or you get to a section and just like, oh, there's a section, and then you're like already like losing your mind. You just hit it lousy or not with all your energy, and then instead you like think about it, take a couple breaths at the bottom. I don't know. It's just kind of how every day goes. That's one thing I'm trying to not do is have bad days, just be like, all right, well, I'm not riding as good today. Well, what's the reason? Am I not hydrated? I try to figure that out. That's what I'm trying to pinpoint right now. Because like I'll be riding with my buddies and they'll be like, dude, I'm riding so crappy today. I'm like, well, I mean, you ride these trails all the time. What's going on? Like, what are you missing out on right now? And yeah, just try to figure it out. I mean, every so often, you got a bad tire, you got a bad, I don't know. It's just try to figure it out.
So really just think through it, kind of, as opposed to just like feel the emotion. Like, you don't just feel the anger, you just kind of like turn to logic.
Yeah, that's how I see it. I mean, kind of just think about it. I'm more thinking about it, but in the moment I'm screaming at myself, but I'm trying to think, okay, what am I doing wrong right now?
Okay.
And then say you hit the section 6 times, you don't make it, and you're like, okay, look under you, oh, there's a rock right there. And then you put your tire to the right and then you make it. It's just thinking. I don't know. That's how I see it.
So in that kind of situation, is that more frustrating for you when you like tried it multiple times and then you're like, oh, if I had just done this sooner, like I would have made it? Is that frustrating, or are you just like, oh, all right, cool?
It's frustrating in the moment, but I don't know. I mean, just kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely frustrating in the moment. Yes, I'll tell you that. Once
It's
you
like a
get up
learning
it, once
experience,
you get up
right?
it, yeah, that too. Once you get up it, then you're like, oh, right, that was super minor, or like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, once I make a section, I'm more like try to talk to myself and like, okay, how am I gonna hit that next time, or how can I hit that more clean, or
Mhm.
I don't know. Just try to think about it.
Okay. That's I think that's some good advice because sometimes I'm just like I just get really frustrated. I try not to like I never get mad. I
Yeah.
never like I'm not one of those people who like gets so pissed off like
Oh
that
yeah.
I'm like screaming or anything. Like but I do just kind of get flustered and I'm just like, dude, what is wrong with me right now?
Yeah.
And but I call my bike happy for a reason because every single time I'm on it, it doesn't matter if I'm falling over, if I'm hitting trees, which actually hasn't happened in a while, but um, no matter what, I'm happy on that bike. Like that's my peace, that's my happiness. It just like I get to tune everything else out and just focus on riding. And for me, it's therapy. So I have moments of frustration. But like we're saying mindset, like really focusing on logic for me and like working through things because I'm still pretty new and I'm still learning what I need to do and what I need to work on. So I know that I have a lot to learn and a lot of things to work on. So trying not to get overwhelmed or frustrated is a big thing for me. So
Yeah.
being somebody who's riding at such a high level for people like me who are still pretty new, who are crazy enough to think about going into hard enduro, what's one thing that you can give me for advice for like if I decided that next year I wanted to do a hard enduro? What's the biggest thing that you would think I would need to do or focus on?
Um, I mean, main part is knowing how to ride a bike. Clutch control is definitely the biggest one.
Okay.
And like what we're talking about, mindset, fitness, and hydration. Because like I'll ride with people, and I've had people take off their helmet and crack it on a rock, like just clobber a rock, and it's like, dude, we just started.
All right.
I mean, I've definitely seen lots of people frustrated on the trail, especially in races. I mean, I'll get frustrated all the time. That's one thing you got to try to overcome. Just trying to like calm yourself down. One thing I've noticed too, like I'll be racing, and all I do is breathe through my mouth when I'm trying. And then if I'll like stop for like 5 seconds, I'll be like, okay, let's get some nose breathing, and I'll breathe through my nose. You know, my heart rate was spiking, and now it's like back down. Like that's one thing I've been working on is my heart rate.
Okay.
So like spiking my heart rate, and then just calming down and just like breathing through my nose in and out, and I feel like that helps a lot because you think about hard enduro, this is one thing like Mount Gark teaching me. Like you hit a section, you're like, blah, 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 and then you get on single track, and then you're just like da 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 da, and your heart rate calms back down instead. And you just spiked it, hitting that hard section, or you just push really hard. And then also you got to work on steady heart rate too, whereas as like just keeping in like 135, 145, and just kind of steady run, steady on a pedal bike. And because then like you get in like a valley or you're in a river or something and you can't even see the end, you're just like, okay, I gotta keep a steady push, steady heart rate through this, and not be spiking it. Then you have to like stop for a couple of seconds to bring it back down. It's one thing I've been noticing a lot while I'm riding. Like I'll just try to be as calm as possible. And then when I notice my heart rate, or when I'm like losing it, or when I can't make this section, I notice my heart rate goes up now, and this is all like the stuff like I just will just tell me all this little advice, and now I'm like actually like thinking about it. And when I'm riding, whereas when I was 2 years younger, I'm just going riding and just push through anything, it's just whatever. But now I'm more likely realizing it and then just taking it to my advantage. That's how I feel.
Yeah. My friend who races, he said that there's a difference between riding and racing. And even for people who race, like, somebody signs up for a GNCC, for example, or a hare scramble, um, they might be in the race, but are they racing or are they riding?
Yeah.
Um, so I think that kind of makes a big difference. I think that you've transitioned from that riding phase and now you're racing.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. I'm really so excited to see how you're already taking all of this stuff that you've learned in this last, we'll say, 6 months. Um, and you're putting it into applications. So it's going to be really cool to see all of this like in person when you're at TKO. I think we're going to see a totally different Makana on that bike, and it's going to be really cool. I'm stoked for it.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know.
I feel like you've got like something up your sleeve. Like, I don't know.
I mean, everybody's grinding, so it's hard. It's just gotta stick with them. I mean, you see how good the kids are, and it's like, all right, well, I need to be just as good as them, if not better. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel right now. And then another thing for racing, like my uncle would tell me, like just ride your own race, just whatever you can do. And then another thing I was saying too was it was totally kind of off topic a bit, but when I was like leading in that race, it was weird. Like I felt like I was riding more smooth than when I'm normally riding. Like I don't know, I just wasn't. I was thinking about everything a lot more. Like I was like, but thinking really fast. Like I wasn't like, oh, like okay, I gotta hit that. I was more like just going at it smoothly and making everything. So super stoked about that.
Do you think some of that was confidence, or
Yeah, I see it as confidence and as in just, and also you never know how far behind they are. Like I thought I had a 5 to 10 minute gap, whereas he was only 2 minutes behind me the whole race. And but the thing is, you don't see him because each section, this race they had like sections and they were kind of smaller. So like once I got to the top, he had just got in there. Then like he said, yeah, every riverbed I would drop in and I would look and I just wouldn't see you. And he said you were like just getting away. So it was cool too. I mean, I was definitely pushing for it, so I was super stoked. But I mean, definitely the racing mentality is crazy. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, especially eating in the morning. That's my biggest struggle. I'm terrible. I can't eat like TKO. I mean, Tough Like Grower. I ate like a bowl of oatmeal and I was throwing up from that. Like I can't even eat anything.
oh my gosh.
That's what I'm struggling on. Like I don't know if you saw me, but I was like, I think were you at Wenzel's or when I pulled up and I was like, or somebody was there. There was like a
No.
lemonade on the side, and I was thirsty, and I was like, "Hey, whose lemonade is this?" And I just grabbed it and started drinking it.
Yeah,
After
sometimes you need that.
just random stuff, and I don't know. I can't eat, but I'm working on it. Like this last race, like I'm more trying to. I don't know. I was thinking like oats and that kind of stuff, but then I talked to Will, and he said like he'll eat like potatoes, steak, all kinds of other stuff. So I'm eating that now. I ate that the morning before the race, and I
Yeah.
didn't get hungry at all. So
Yeah, it makes a big difference when you start to get your nutrition really dialed in. Obviously I don't ride as hard as you do, but I run a lot. And it's very similar. When I used to go for my long runs, 22 miles, that's a hell of a long run to
yeah,
be going. And I used to do fasted cardio, so
yeah,
I wouldn't eat before that. And that was absolutely terrible. Do not recommend. But when I started eating before those runs, I would do um, like eggs and avocado toast in the morning or something like that. Something super simple. It's light, but
yeah,
it still has enough protein in it and good fats and a little bit of carbs to get me going because that's what worked best for me. Um, every body is different, but I have found that increasing my protein throughout the entire day leading up to an event like that really, really helps. And it's made such a huge difference. I mean, I shaved about 2 minutes off of my mile average within a couple weeks because of changing my nutrition. So it's amazing what your body can do when it's fueled properly. And sometimes it's just a small tweak. So that tweak that you've made, thanks to Will's advice, it might be a huge difference down the road when you've gotten used to it and you can, not have the nerves or, get sick in the morning. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely harder, or I don't know, but
eating before an event is always rough for a lot of people, though. It's not just you. I mean, like every kind of race that I've ever been around, whether it's cars, whether it's dirt bikes, running, whatever, people have a hard time eating before it because it's just like you get so in your head about everything that you have to do, and your body is just like wound up already, and you're just like ready to go do the thing. And so your body's not really thinking about digestion, but it's so important to fuel your body. So I'm really glad that you're focusing on that. That's huge. So it sounds like Will really gave you a lot of amazing advice to kind of catalog. It's really cool to see you putting it all into action. And he seems like such a cool guy. Like that's really awesome of him to do that. Like he didn't have to do that,
Yeah,
but
and then it's like literally talk to the best of the best. So it's whatever. Like I was just ramming questions at him, and he's just like telling me everything. So I mean, it's the only really way you're gonna get better if you know what they're doing. So that's how I see it. But,
yeah, I think it's really cool. I think that there's a lot of things out there that are starting to come out. This whole Hard Enduro burros thing that they're doing, and they're really kind of giving a behind the scenes look at these top riders and, how they train and how they ride outside of a race. And I think that that's really cool because it's kind of those little bits of information that you can glean off of that. You can see the lines that they pick and stuff like that in a non-race environment, and just see the things that are like really possible on a bike, which is insanity to me sometimes. But there's things like that. And I think that Max Gersten's podcast, he gets really into a lot of things with those guys. So I feel like they give a lot of really good information in that too. I don't know if you listen to that, but if you don't, I highly recommend it.
I listened to a couple of them.
Yeah. So I think that, there's a lot of people out there who are willing to share their knowledge. And, Cody Webb's got his online platform and he's giving that knowledge away that he has, and that's huge. So I think it's really cool to see those guys just like they could totally just like steal away and just hide and never give anybody else any information. And they don't do that. Like all the top guys are out there like trying to get everyone to be better, trying to grow everything and give away that knowledge. And I think that's really, really cool and admirable. So, and it was just more highlighted by the fact that Will, hung out with you. And it was just like, I saw that. I was just like, holy crap, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was definitely super stoked about that.
Yeah. So other than riding with Will, how was your time in North Carolina? Did you like go back to any sections that you had issues with during the race, or did you just ride whatever you could find? Or
yeah, I kind of went back to a couple of sections I struggled on. Hit like I wanted to hit a lot of the second lap stuff that I missed out on, so went back and hit a lot of the second lap stuff. Like what was the section? I forget, but it was I mean it was super cool. I had fun training on everything. I mean it's cool how you can just go ride it after the race without in your race. When you're not racing, it's totally different. It's like, okay, I can session this or like try to hit this. But I think it was called Little Romanian. Like I went back there. That hill is so chewed up now. I tried it and then just kind of pushed my way to the top. But I actually made it cleaner in the race than when I went there and tried to make it. So I was pretty impressed. I was like, wow, I actually made it pretty nicely in the race. And then also too, I'm all by myself pushing my bike up it the last time, so I was like, all right. But and then yeah, I mean, I had a great time. Hang out with the grandparents a lot. Got to just kind of hang out. I mostly rode, helped them out around the house. Did a bunch of yard work. But yeah, I mean, the riding is amazing there. But then I'm trying to think of the section, but the second lap was cool though. There was, I don't know what the section was, but Colton Hager came sliding down. All kinds of guys are coming sliding down it. It was super. I don't even know what it was called, but it was a huge slab. And it was like an off-camber rock or around it. Tristan Hart like went right up it, and I'm pretty sure he cleaned it. The first person.
Is that Greasy Rock?
I think so. It was like that huge rock that, and Colton Anchor came down it and like totally super sketchy on Quinn's video. But I tried that a couple times and I slid my bike down it like 3 times. So. But
I fell down that rock, so I know your pain. And I wasn't even on a bike. I was just on my own 2 feet. So yeah. I totally get it. That rock sucks. But to be fair, I also fell in Wenzel's water slide on my feet as well. So I don't envy. I didn't get to see anybody go up that during the race. I was all the way on the other side of the course, but yeah. I've seen plenty of videos. So
yeah, Wenzel's was cool. I mean, I feel like that kind of brings, like, I feel like I was more comfortable riding up it, whereas I saw a couple of videos, a couple of kids like going up and then fully spinning out. I was just like, all right, well, how about this? I hit it my first attempt and I like spun out the bottom and I stopped and I turned around because I was like, all right, I spun out, I lost my momentum, and I hit it again, clicked up to third, and then you get that more. I don't know. You just got to kind of light it up when you hit the dirt, and then once you hit the rock, you just light on the gas. And then you see other people, they go up and they're kind of soft up the bottom and they give all the power on the rock and it's just sliding everywhere. Seen some pretty epic crashes, so it's pretty cool.
Well, with that little tidbit of information, maybe I'll go try it. I'll make sure if I do, I get plenty of video so people could laugh at me. But
that place is cool to go ride just for fun too, also. So,
yeah. I'm super stoked to get back there. Brushy's always a good time. Tyler and Zach are super fun to be around.
Yeah,
as you know.
Yeah.
If you could, and I know it's not really possible, but if you could, would you go back to the course at Roar and go session anything there? Because that course was pretty gnarly.
Probably not, but maybe the second lap. I would like to check out a couple of the sections. Maybe not the last trail that Cody struggled on, but couple of sections, and maybe that one you saw me in. What I forget what that was called.
The stairway.
Yeah, Stairway to Heaven or whatever. Just all the little ones. Yeah, I mean, nothing was like impossible there. It was just I already rode for like 3 hours by the time I got there, so I was already pretty tired. But I mean, I had fun. It's definitely it'd be cool to go there with a bunch of kids and a bunch of guys. It'd be cool.
Just to go have fun.
Yeah, and then you find all kinds of different lines and so.
Yeah. What about so on the other race that weekend, that other one that I saw you at was also called Stairway, and it was like
shotgun.
Yeah, it was like never ending up and rocks, and it just did not look like that good of a time for most people. Like if you could go back and do that, would you, or would you just totally skip it?
Yeah, I'd probably do it. I'd definitely like to try be a little more flowy on it. Like I watched Tristan, I'm just float right up and it'd be cool to have crazy suspension and good tires. I mean, I had the same tire, but I mean, it definitely a lot of working I need to work on if I want to be there. Just watching them ride up it, even when it was super slippery, they just went right up it. After it rained, and they went through that 3 times, and then it took me
Well, what Kana Boy, I talked to him after that race, and he said that after it started raining, the rocks had more traction.
Yeah,
So they said it was a lot easier.
yeah, because I think it rained the night before and it was all muddy, so everybody was tracking mud onto the rocks, and then
Yeah.
the rain washed everything off. So I
Yeah.
see it, but from where I was, I don't think it made it any easier. Like right after you saw me, there was like this log that was probably about 3 feet off the ground, maybe 4 feet off the ground. Or no, like 3, 4 feet tall, and then you're on rock slabs trying to ride like an off camber, and then you have to hit it. And then I think it was like me, Seth Steiner, and then this one other kid, and then we were all just kind of there's no traction, and you're just like burp, 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 and just kind of let your bike go, and it just
Oh my
went over
gosh.
it. But then you watch the pros go over, and they just ride right around you. I mean, they were struggling too, but just they never run out of gas. I don't know.
They
So
just keep going and going.
yeah,
Yeah.
their tank never empties. But I've seen their tank empty, but it takes a lot. So
Yeah.
it's crazy how far they can push their bodies. Whereas, and it's like us, we're like tire out in 3, 4 hours. But
So do you think that has to do more with like if you were to put like you and one of them side by side? Obviously there's a little bit of difference because of age, but do you think it's fitness, the fact that you're doing school, you're doing normal things, and they're able to just go and ride and work out all the time? Or
I
what do
mean,
you think is the biggest difference?
I think definitely the biggest difference is age as of right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like just looking how small I am compared to the rest of them. Like I've kind of got the height right now, but just I'm super small and skinny. But that's kind of the build I want. Just strength or more strength in the bones and the parts I use of my body. Because it's like, yeah, I'm super skinny right now, but then it's like I can go ride for 4 hours and not cramp up once. Really hard riding. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm just strength, or like my strength is really good in some parts. But I feel like they have a lot more mindset against me too. They're just how they think about a section. Like I'm like, oh my god, if I fall right, I could die. Whereas and they're just wheeling through it. Or my dad's like, yeah, dude, you like hit that jump and then you hit it like 2 feet, and they just like jump 10 feet and jump the whole thing, or like they just have a lot more confidence against me. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'll get after in a couple years. Like
Yeah.
Boy coming for his second lap, and I'm about to finish my first, and he's just like comes into this rock. It was like a huge rock, and there's guys here, and he just launches it right into it and just claps his frame so hard on the rock. And I was just like, and then I go into it and I like put my front tire on and like and go up it. Whereas he just like did it like a berm and just like ping, gone. And then just those 30, 45 seconds, that's where they pull away.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
see.
crazy watching those guys do some of that stuff.
Yeah,
But
it's definitely
that'll
next
be
level.
you pretty quick here. I think, and again, I have a long way to go, but I think that the level that you're at is pretty intense. Like watching some of the stuff that you've done and like the way that you do it, um, that was pretty crazy. Especially like even on Stairway, both days on Stairway at Roar, I was just like, holy crap. And like you just kept going. Like you paused and like you rested for a second or whatever, but like you just kept hitting it. Like there was a lot of people who gave up.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's fitness is part of it, but then I think you also have a lot of motivation. I feel like knowing that you're younger in the class that you're in, um, that's got to have some sort of motivation,
yeah,
to be
definitely.
pushing because you're so young.
Yeah,
You could be like Will said, you're already at a higher level than he was at that point. So where could you be in 3 years?
yeah, that's definitely. That's hopefully it keeps going and kind of just keep moving. So keep progressing every race, and then I mean every race I feel better. So I mean, I feel like every race you kind of get that little, oh yeah, I feel way better. But no, I really feel like it's helping me and it's pushing me a lot more. Like I'm feeling like, oh, I need to grind more. Like, oh, I need to work more. Like, because, like I'm not winning or I'm not doing this, so it's like, all right, well, I got to beat that guy. So got to get better. And then.
And do you find that it helps, like, at the races that you've been able to have your family at? I know at Roar you had a little bit more family, it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I think just mom and dad's the biggest part. I mean, you only see them 30 seconds, so
Yeah.
it's only really the beginning and the start. Definitely the beginning, or just not even the beginning of the race, just the morning of the race. Like, just like, okay, mom, can you make me some eggs, or can you do this? And then I just sit there, or whatever, That's the biggest part for me, I feel like. And then like I kind of get all my stuff together, but then like, oh mom, like when we did the races, I wore the same gear 3 days in a row, but she washed it every night, and I was just like, oh, here's my gear. Instead,
Yeah.
I have to like stay up and like wait for it to be done in the hotel, or so it's nice.
That's pretty awesome to have them there.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of motivation, and definitely want to push harder. So then they're like, okay, yeah, I want to keep pushing him, or they're definitely seeing I'm progressing, so they're like, okay, he's definitely going somewhere, so let's keep doing it.
Yeah, that's cool. And do you think that next year you'll come in feeling like you have a little bit of an edge now that you've been to some of these places? You kind of know a little bit of what you're coming into. Obviously, courses change, but
Yeah.
You have an idea of what the riding style is, because riding West Coast, like you said, is very, very different from riding East Coast. Even at my level, it's very different. So
Yeah. I think I'll definitely have I guess not really an edge, but more likely just more confident going to, like, I'll be like, okay, oh, I remember this section, or, like that. I mean, I don't know, I'm hoping to do the West Coast races, or a couple, at least one of them. Gonna try to get my bike over there, but we'll see. But I mean, it'll be definitely, yeah, it'll be nice to know what I'm going into, or just be kind of prepared for it a little bit more. Because in this season, I feel like everything was kind of just like rambled together. Like, it was like, okay, yeah, we're going to Valley Goats. Okay, hop on a plane. Oh, we're buying a bike. Okay, yeah, let's go. But I like that. I like the excitement and showing up and being like, we're here. And then everybody's kind of like, whoa, you're here. Like, and then it's pretty funny too. It's like, dang, you just came all from Hawaii just to do this stupid race, just to get tortured. And then it's like, I mean, yeah, it's kind of the same way. I mean, like, yeah, the kid Declan, he drove 25 hours by himself, and he's only a year older than me. My mom's like, I would never let you do that. But yeah, that's commitment. That's really crazy. But
well, it's not like you can really drive from Hawaii. So.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Yeah, that's something that kind of sucks. It's far, but I like it here. I mean, I definitely, I would probably never. I would only move to the mainland if I was really gonna, like, if I got offered and they were like, you have to live in the mainland. But here's just
have like a training place or something.
Yeah, that, or just like an offer from some kind of company, and like, oh, I want you to ride my bike, but you got to ride it, and I want you to be here 24/7. I don't know. I mean, it's cool. I like it here really a lot. Like, I come home and it's just like, oh yeah, this is what I come home to. I like it. And then the mainland, it's definitely cool going to all the new scenes. I love how you can just drive. Like, you can drive 10 hours and you're in the desert. You can drive 5 hours and you're in mud. It's super cool. Here, it's like you drive to the other side of the island and it might be sunny, might be raining. And it's...
How long does it take to get to the other side of your island?
Like an hour and a half.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
I mean, we live on the east side and we can drive to the north side in an hour.
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty, that you're basically going from the bottom of the island to the top of the island. So But you can't do a circle around the whole island. There's like a big mountain. They never made a road there. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm used to, I mean, I can't even fathom that. I moved from Arizona to Minnesota when I was like 11, and I started driving back and forth. Like my family would go back and forth every summer, and that's 28 hours of driving. I can't imagine being like at the end in an hour. Like that's crazy to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, that's the like cool part. You're kind of close with everybody. Like everybody lives 10 to 15 minutes away. So
Yeah. Well, even I feel like the whole culture of Hawaii in general, you're on a different island than Kanaboy and Ryder and Kauelo, and it's it's still really cool to see how supportive they are of you. And I think vice versa. Um, I think it's cool that you guys are all on obviously a little bit of a different level, but they're still like they get excited to hear that you did well, and like their families get excited, and I think that's really really cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they're super cool. I mean, you hop on a plane, you'd be there in 30, 45 minutes. That's the other cool thing. It's super close.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit here and talk with me. I know it's not as cool as riding, but I really appreciate it. um, is there anybody you want to shout out, say thank you, anything like that? This is your time.
I just want to shout out my mom, my dad, all my grandparents. Just kind of keeping my bike safe in North Carolina, and probably my jersey maker, Soul Graphics. So if you guys have any custom printing back over here, he does everything. So yeah,
Cool.
that's it basically.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. And I guess we'll be seeing you in a few weeks at TKO.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Sounds good. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.